While the big stars were grabbing headlines, these artists were shaping the soul of country in quieter ways. Today, we're counting down 12 obscure country acts from 1960 you need to hear. Number 12, Knoxville Girl by the Louvin Brothers. Coming in at number 12 is a haunting ballad from the Alabama-born Louvin Brothers, whose close harmonies held an eerie power all their own. Released on Capitol Records, Knoxville Girl didn't climb high on the charts, but it seeped into America's memory like fog rolling in after sundown. The song itself draws from a long tradition of Appalachian murder ballads, grim stories set to deceptively gentle melodies. What makes this version unforgettable is the way Ira and Charlie sing of violence with such sorrowful calm, as though fate were something no one could escape. Their own relationship was turbulent, marked by personal struggle, alcohol, and artistic perfectionism that sometimes pushed them apart. Yet when listeners first heard this song on late-night radio, perhaps while driving a lonely highway or working the graveyard shift, the harmonies could stop a person cold. The track remains a chilling masterpiece of storytelling, quiet, dark, and unforgettable. From something haunting, we move to a song rooted in everyday hardship. Number 11, Life to Go by Stonewall Jackson. Stonewall Jackson recorded Life to Go in 1958, but it continued echoing through the early 60s as a steady radio favorite. Written by George Jones, the song tells the story of a man facing the weight of a prison sentence, a reflection of too many real lives in the rural South of that era. Released on Columbia Records, it climbed into the top 5 on the Billboard Country chart. Though Jackson himself never earned the widespread fame of his peers, what gives the song its staying power is the raw ache in Jackson's voice. He sings like someone who has seen regret up close. And behind the scenes, Stonewall had his own uphill climb. A self-taught musician who joined the Grand Ole Opry at just 24, breaking tradition as one of the youngest ever welcomed to the stage. Played on jukeboxes and roadside bars, Life to Go reminded listeners that a single mistake could change everything, from prison walls to matters of pride and heartache. Number 10, You're Making a Fool Out of Me by Jimmy Newman.
Oh, you're making a fool out of me.
Or Jimmy C, as many fans later knew him, started his career in Cajun country before steering into Nashville's smoother sound.
People are talking all over town.
You're Making a Fool Out of Me came out in 1960 on the Decca label, capturing the moment when Newman was bridging two musical worlds, the raw bayou swing of Louisiana and the polished steel string ache of country radio. The song didn't chart high nationally, but regionally. Especially in Texas and Louisiana, it was a quiet hit that found its home on local station playlists and weekend dance halls. Newman himself carried a deep internal tug of war, torn between commercial success and the roots music of his childhood. Later in life, he would return proudly to his Cajun heritage. Picture a crowded VFW hall, colored lights spinning slow, boots scuffing the floor. That's where this song lived, in real places with real people. Next, we take a step into pure honky-tonk longing. Number 9. Wishful Thinking by Wynn Stewart.
But I guess that's wishful thinking.
Considered one of the cornerstones of what would later become the Bakersfield sound, Wynn Stewart laid groundwork that artists like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard would take to staggering heights. Released on Challenge Records, Wishful Thinking charted modestly, yet its crisp electric guitar twang and Stewart's velvet-smooth phrasing helped reshape the genre.
I could see you again, dear.
Behind the scenes, Stewart was known for being meticulous, maybe even too meticulous. His chase for perfection slowed his rise just enough for others to pass him. But those who played alongside him never forgot just how good he was. In dusty bar rooms from Fresno to Bakersfield, his sound filled the air like cigarette smoke and neon reflections.
For your love, it's you I'm wishing for.
If you imagine a two-lane highway at dusk, your elbow out the truck window, radio static fading into melody, that's where this song belongs. It's a piece of the future before the future arrived, from California's edge to a ballad with a touch of sweethearted sorrow. Number 8, I Can't Help You, I'm Falling Too by Skeeter Davis.
I can't help you, darling, 'cause
Released in 1960 on RCA Victor, this song found Skeeter Davis wrestling with love's most dangerous territory, falling for someone you shouldn't.
you say that you're falling, but
The song reached the top 10 on the country chart and crossed into pop territory as well, but Davis never quite became a household name, even though her voice could break a heart with just a breath. Skeeter's career carried its own quiet tragedy. She had begun as part of the Davis sisters, but after a devastating car crash
whose arms have grown cold.
killed her singing partner and nearly ended her own life, Skeeter rebuilt herself, note by note, stage by stage. There's resilience in every word she ever sang. Listeners remember hearing this song on small kitchen radios while washing dishes after supper, thinking of someone they shouldn't think about.
I'm falling too. I know that.
It's a confession set to melody, gentle, honest, and deeply human. Now, we lean into a classic honky-tonk cry of desperation. Number 7, Why by Carl Smith. Carl Smith had already been a major force earlier in the 50s, but by 1960, younger acts were starting to eclipse him. Still, Why reminded folks exactly why he mattered. Released on Columbia Records, the song danced between heartbreak and toe-tapping rhythm, a combination Smith mastered as naturally as breathing.
Well, I like your loving arms around me all the time.
Smith's personal life was just as storied. He was once married to June Carter before her eventual marriage to Johnny Cash, and the entanglements of love and fame followed him like a shadow. But Carl had a charm that audiences adored, a crooked smile and a voice that could turn pain into a kind of celebration. You could hear this song spilling out of car radios outside drive-in theaters, young couples leaning close, the world feeling big and full of possibility.
Why?
Smith may not be remembered as loudly as others, but his influence runs deep. Now we arrive at the halfway point, and a song about simple contentment. Number 6, A Satisfied Mind by Porter Wagner. Porter Wagner brought A Satisfied Mind to life in a way that made listeners stop and think. Released on RCA Victor, this 1960 rendition climbed the charts steadily. Not flashy, not loud, just honest. The song posed a timeless question. What's wealth worth if you don't have peace?
If I had his money, I could
Porter's persona, the bright rhinestone suits, the tall blonde pompadour, might have seemed flashy, but his music was grounded in the values of humble beginnings. Born in Missouri, raised through hardship, he understood every word he sang about gratitude and regret.
Everything that I've dreamed for to get us.
Picture folks seated around the living room after supper, radio on. Conversation faded. This was a song that made people quiet. If these songs are stirring up memories, or if you're discovering them for the first time, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. We share new classic country countdowns every week, keeping these timeless voices alive. Number 5. Sink the Bismarck by Johnny Horton.
Did for British seamen, he knew and understood they had to sink.
Johnny Horton had a knack for taking history and turning it into musical thunder. Sink the Bismarck, released in 1960 on Columbia Records, told the World War II story with vivid energy and marching drum storytelling.
In May of 1941, the war had just begun. The Germans had...
Horton wasn't just singing. He was painting pictures of roaring seas and steel-clashing battle. Tragically, Horton's life was cut short later that same year in a car accident, just as he was on the cusp of long-lasting fame.
The decks are running, boys, has been those guns around.
His blend of folk narrative and honky-tonk drive would influence countless artists after him. Listeners remember hearing this song on Saturday morning radio, windows open, coffee percolating, American flags waving in small towns across the country. It was pride set to melody.
10 hours away from homeland, the Bismarck made its run.
Bold, booming, unforgettable. Next, we shift to something homespun and joyful. Number 4, Alabama by Cowboy Copas.
When I get ready to leave this earth, I'm gonna look back to my money's worth.
Alabama was a number 1 hit in 1960, yet Cowboy Copas' name is rarely mentioned today. Released on Starday Records, the song rolled along with the easy charm of front porch storytelling. Copas was beloved for his warm stage presence.
I'm going back to Alabama.
Friendly, genuine, no pretense. But behind that charm was hardship. Copas struggled for years before finding steady success, and his career would end tragically in 1963 in the same plane crash that took Patsy Cline and Hawkshaw Hawkins.
Hey, one had a bushel and the other had a peck, and one had a roast near tied around his...
For those who remember it, Alabama sounded like summertime. Fishing lakes, dirt roads, laughter drifting across the yard. It's a reminder that country music is at its best when it feels like home. Now we enter the top 3, where legacy grows stronger. Number 3, Wings of a Dove by Ferlin Husky.
On the wings of a snow white dove, he sends.
Released in 1960 on Capitol Records, Wings of a Dove soared to number 1 and stayed there for weeks. Ferlin Husky brought a gentle, gospel-tinged piece to country music. Something soft but deeply rooted.
The wings of a dove. On the wings of...
His smooth vocals offered comfort during a time when many families were facing change. Husky didn't have an easy road. Health issues and industry shifts challenged him, but Wings of a Dove became the song people remembered him by. A message of faith without preaching, hope without judgment.
On the wings of a snow white dove, he sends his...
Picture a Sunday morning with sunlight drifting through old curtains, coffee brewing, and the radio humming. That's the atmosphere this song lives in. Our final 2 songs cut deeper into longing and love. Number 2, Sea of Heartbreak by Don Gibson.
Sea of heartbreak, lost love, loneliness, memories.
Don Gibson understood loneliness better than most. Sea of Heartbreak, released in 1961 on RCA Victor, rode the edge of pop and country with a smoothness that made it timeless. Gibson wrote many hits, Paisy, often for others, but this one held a personal ache.
Always to sail this sea of heart.
Behind the scenes, Gibson battled shyness and stage fright, surprising for someone whose music carried such emotional weight. But sometimes the quiet ones feel the most deeply. This song played on late-night radios for people who couldn't sleep. Truck drivers, factory workers, the recently heartbroken.
To my rescue.
It was a companion in lonely hours. And now we reach number 1, a song that defined intimacy in country music. Number 1, He'll Have to Go by Jim Reeves.
Have to go. You can't say.
Jim Reeves recorded He'll Have to Go in 1960, and it became a defining moment in country history. Released on RCA Victor, the song charted across genres thanks to Reeves's velvet-smooth Nashville sound delivery.
Pretend that we're together all alone.
The song's story, a quiet conversation over the telephone, heartbreak unfolding in real time, hit listeners in a place that felt deeply personal. Reeves's voice wasn't just pleasant, it was intimate, like he was leaning in close, speaking gently, understanding your pain.
A little closer to the phone.
In an era of twang and raw edge, he brought softness without losing sincerity. Listeners remember hearing this one at night, maybe alone, maybe thinking of someone far away. It's a song that turns silence into meaning. If you've enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more classic country memories every week. And there you have it, 12 often overlooked voices who shaped the warmth, the poetry, and the honesty of 1960s country music. These weren't always the household names, but they were the soundtrack to real life. Long drives, kitchen table conversations, slow dances, and quiet tears. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Your support helps keep these stories alive for generations to come. Don't miss our next video, 12 obscure country bands from 1956 you need to hear, where new styles start to bloom and familiar voices rise higher than ever. Until then, keep the music close and the memories closer.